a special episode, episode 27 of the Living Good with Jakeb Livengood podcast. I'm your host, Jakeb Livengood, and all right, this is a first of its kind by far. Okay, let me set the stage. It is November 6th, 2024. I'm going to be posting this everywhere, including Instagram. This is my first time ever doing this. All my content is, personal development, business development, growth mindset, success oriented. I do interviews and stuff. Let's talk politics a little bit. First time ever. Before I jump into it, I'd like to set the groundwork and set the stage here. Okay. So first off, no matter how large my platform ever gets, okay, cumulatively across my personal brands, I have 800,000 followers, just shy of 800,000 followers. No matter how large I get on the grandiose public world stage, I will never tell you how to think or what you should do or anything like that, okay? It's like a sellout thing, okay? I've spoke on stages at Bitcoin conferences, and every time I always tell people, no matter what it is, if I'm educating on blockchain, personal development, if I'm just talking about something, interviewing someone, I tell people to assume that I am telling you a bold-faced lie so that it will trigger you to then go out, research the subject matter yourself so that you can come to your own formulation of ideas. Perhaps I may come out in the future and tell people, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and these are the thought bases that have allowed me to make these decisions, but I'm not telling you should do the same. I'm just sharing ideas, right? We can have conversation and discourse without agreeing, right? I think a really important thing here to preface, I want to define what a bigot is, what bigotry is, okay? So bigotry is defiance of the ability to take in new information from an opposing perspective. Okay, so what I experienced today, I woke up this morning, Donald Trump won the presidency. I'm happy about that. I'll explain why. Okay, I'll break it all down. We're gonna go deep down the rabbit holes, right? Red pill, blue pill type stuff. Okay. Now, if you're not happy about that, that's okay, right? We don't have to agree on everything. Not to mention, okay, 16 people cumulatively. 14 of them blocked me. 2 of them had quite lovely conversations with me, and I said, hey, let's have an open dialogue here. Great stuff. Happy to hear that. 14 people, including one of my cousins, 4 of them, by the way, of the 14, cussed me out, and then before I could even see the message or see what was going on, blocked me, right? So they go, and none of these 16 people, not a single one of them was an individual that's just found me on social media and followed me. Every one of these 16 people are a physical person that I have actually met in real world examples, right? And so it's like these 16 people, 14 of them that went berserk, like they went from thinking I like this guy, I like his personality, I like who he is, to this guy is a piece of garbage instantly without having open discourse. I think that's really weird, right? Like, we don't have to agree on every talking point. That's okay. But at least let's have like open discussions. I'm okay, totally capable of having friendships as an adult with individuals that don't agree with me on everything. We don't have to agree on everything. There's a lot of subject matter to talk about. We don't have to talk about politics. You know what I'm saying? But that's bigotry. Plain as day. It's scary, right? So I wanted to define bigotry. Now, there's a couple of talking head points, right? And I got a couple of things going on, right? And so let's first start with court of public opinion. I want to define it and, elaborate on it, right? Because every single one of us, no matter side of the aisle, it doesn't matter. Not just talking about politics. This is everything in the world. Anything that can be observed, any information, there's a court of public opinion about it, okay? And by things being put into the limelight, into the narrative, and then a subjective amount of people observing that and then taking that in, it is changing court of public opinion, right? The US judicial system quotes to be operating on the modality of innocent until proven guilty, supposedly. That's not in actuality how it works now, though, is it? It's more or less guilty until proven innocent, okay? And that's how court of public opinion works as well, right? If a select group of individuals that has a large enough platform capable at their wherewithal and their disposal tells a lie, just boldface, just plain out puts a lie out there and keeps repeating the talking point, at a certain point, court of public opinion, when it exceeds 50%, it's true, right? But it's a fallacy. It's a talking point that's moot and has no real meritocracy to it. Okay, it's not real. Okay, it's fugazi. It's fairy dust. It's not real, right? That's from Wolf of Wall Street. But look, okay. And also, mind you, I want this preface before I even break into the talking points. I am one guy, okay? I'm one guy. I have the perspectives that I have based on my lived experience, based on the information I've taken in. I don't claim for it to all be 100% the truth. It's my perspective bias. It's how I see things, and I'm willing to talk about those. And if you have some different perspectives, that's totally cool. We can talk about that. Also, right, a lot of people, a couple of the people that blocked me were gay. They're homosexuals, and I'm straight. I'm a Christian man. I'm a God-fearing man. Right? And that's where a lot of my beliefs come from, right? Abortion and such, which we can dive into. We will dive into it. But they have been burned by people that are bigots themselves inside the Christian religion, right? They and those people that were judging them for their actions and decisions and the things that by biblical standards are sin. We're called not to judge. I love everybody. I don't care what your perspective is on things. Even if it's just straight up the 100% opposite, not even close to adjacent to what I believe, I still love you inherently as a human being. Like I can love you without agreeing with you, right? Because I'm actually following the gospels as I'm excuse me. I'm actually following the gospels as I'm called to. Okay, I'm not going to judge you for your decisions. Just because we have different sins that we're denounced by doesn't mean I'm any more holy than you. Okay, like, so there's that. I don't think that it's my place to tell you this is how you have to think and this is the absolute holy truth. I think, hey, this is how I'm seeing it. So like, let's look at that. Also, I really would like, just me using my platform and creating content like this, I'm not going to be able to wholly affect global change about this, but I think, and everybody, both sides of the aisle, left, right, near the middle, doesn't matter. I think we all need to get better at being able to have true discourse and debate that we don't get emotionally heated in, right? If someone is sharing something that's contrary to the modalities you're operating in, don't take that as a personal attack. They're not attacking you, right? Like, I don't hate you just because we see things different. I know I've said that like 7 times, but it's big. And everybody on every side of the aisle needs to be privy to that information. Okay, let's love each other. Okay, boom, let's go. All right. Also, another thing, we really should be discussing policy, not personality. And let me jump into that, right? Because a couple of the common themes that I've been seeing, Trump's character is bad, right? We are all, at certain levels, we do our best to be righteous, but none of us are perfect. Jesus Christ was perfect. That's it. And by the way, I wanted to call him into this conversation because think about this, okay? Jesus Christ. And now, by the way, I'm not comparing myself or Trump to Jesus Christ. I'm drawing a parallel between the hero's journey, okay? The hero's journey and intentional life affecting change in the world, okay? Look at this. Donald Trump, court of public opinion, he's hateful, racist, sexist, he's a convicted rapist, a xenophobe, he's an elitist, he's a felon, whatever, or he's an accused rapist, right? Now, I don't know Trump personally. I can't call to all these things. Some of them I can touch on, right? But these are all talking points. Like I said, court of public opinion. There doesn't need to be any substantiated evidence for one side of the aisle to just throw epithets, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, right? Until enough people believe it that it's just public appeals. That's what people think, right? It's kind of wild, and I'll dive deeper into that. But Jesus Christ was counterculture in his day, right? He was marched to his death. He died for all of our sins, the most gruesome death of all time. He felt everything, okay? And guess what? He was a sinless, perfect man. He was God incarnate in man, right? He didn't deserve any of that. But guess what? It was hateful epithets and modalities put on him. This is who he is, that were all unsubstantiated, and he was deemed guilty in court of public opinion. You see how that works? That's part of the hero's journey. I've dealt with this, and I'll touch on it later here, right? Now, I personally, now again, just one man's humble perspective, I personally haven't seen anything that's openly, blatantly racist from Trump. Now, I have seen things that are the exact opposite, okay? Now, it really just depends on where you're consuming your information. And another thing that I haven't even touched on here, perspective bias is huge, okay? Like, if you have, and it says it in the Bible, he who believes he can and he who believes he can't, they're both right. And the same goes for your perspective. You have confirmation bias. If you're looking for information, or if you're leaning towards a specific, either A or B, and you're leaning towards one or the other, you will see things to confirm that bias, right? Now, as far as being hateful, you know, Trump's personality, a lot of people don't like him, but arguably he's like a comedian, right? He has a personality, he has a stage presence. That's not, if you sit down with him, you go golfing with him, right? Or you're in a business meeting with him, the personality you see on stage isn't him. That's not him directly. Just like me, Jakeb Livengood, the brand identity online, if you interact with me directly in person, I'm not as exuberant and over the top and energetic in person. I'm pretty melancholy. I'm pretty flush level, right? I'm not, there's a difference between your stage presence and your digital, your identity, your media presence versus who you are as an individual. Okay. Now, xenophobic, we can just cross cancel that one out. That's not true at all. Okay. That's just, I mean, I don't even know where a claim like that would become substantiated at all. If you look at the Madison Square Garden campaign, that there were Israeli flags like there's no, and there was a parallel called to Adolf Hitler, which I think is just, I mean, they're again throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. We need to look at policy. We need to look at history of, okay, how geopolitically, social economically were you living for the 4 years in term versus the 4 years we experienced recently, right? Were you living off better? How was it? Another couple of things I'll get here down the list, right? I'll skip it for now. We'll come back. Him being an elitist. Here's another thing, right? With the whole elitist modality thing. Donald Trump, while he got a small loan of $1 million when he started his personal development entrepreneurial journey, he's self-made. Yes, that's a head start, 100%. I'll acknowledge that. However, he is a very eccentric, valuable to the marketplace man. He's made himself into something. Now, people often, especially when I was in the flow arts community running a company, people would say, you're holier than thou. You think you're better than me. And it's actually like, it's yes and no. No, I don't think I'm better than you. Inherently, as human beings formed in the image of God, we are all the same. However, to the marketplace, yes, I think I'm better than you. I am more valuable to the marketplace than you because I have high income skills. I understand things you don't understand. That's why people are willing to pay me. That's why people are consulting with me, big companies, because I understand things that are valuable in the marketplace. Trump is more valuable to the marketplace than I am. That's why he's a billionaire and I'm not. So I don't think I'm better than you as a human being. Inherently, we are exactly the same. And I love you as a human being. However, I will not say that we're the same if on my downtime, I don't have downtime because I schedule every single moment of my day to build towards an intentional future. I'm building an empire, always building my business. Every waking hour I'm working. You're not the same as me if you veg out, watch Netflix, eat potato chips, and are just lethargic and don't care about becoming a better version of yourself every day. We're not the same. To the marketplace, I'm far more valuable. That's why I will get to where I'm getting in life and you'll get to where you're going. At the end, it'll all flesh out. We'll see what's happening, right? So to say Trump's an elitist, there is a certain egoic thought structure that forms when you become a profound world builder. Now, to mind you, to play devil's advocate here, right? If we're going to say Trump's the bad guy, Trump is an independently wealthy billionaire. Okay. He doesn't need to do this. He is becoming a bureaucrat. He's lowering his standard of life to be a bureaucrat. Okay. Do you think that actually getting into politics and having to deal with all this divisiveness and be public enemy number one is actually helpful or beneficial to his life in any way? It's a massive pullback. Most people, because they've never experienced anywhere close to that level of life, can't even begin to quantify the drawbacks and the things that he let go of in his reality to downforce and come back down and help, because I see substantial problems in the geopolitical landscape, and I know that I can fix them. I have the capacity and the skill sets to do that. So he's coming down. He's taken massive deductions in life, in life quality, to come do this. Now, also, another thing that was that I'm seeing, not from one of the people that I was talking to, but on TikTok, people thinking that people are worshiping Trump like he's some kind of deity. I want to be so clear, okay? I don't like worship Trump. I don't love Trump, right? But of the two options we've been presented, one is a puppet for the shadow government, which we'll go into, right? The cabal, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. We're not even going down conspiracy theory rabbit holes. We're going down things that can be backed by declassified documents by government agencies. If you really want to get into it, you can follow the money, okay? I've been a VC funded entrepreneur in my lifetime, and I have personally interacted with people that in public eye of perception, they are the golden boy. They're such great people. Look at how awesome they are. In all actuality, they are corrupted. They are morally reprehensible. They are bad people. Like, just interacting with them, you can feel the demonic energy seething off of them. But in public eye of perception, they're the golden boys, right? Reality is not as it seems all the time, okay? I've seen the landscape. I've been in VC funded rooms with A-listers, okay? It's not what you think, okay? Again, inherently, they are no different than you. And if we dove into the 7 deadly sins, a lot of these people are so wrapped up in pride, they are disaffected by the lowest of the low, locked in their root chakra, and greed has overtaken them. See, when we talk about the cabal or the Illuminati or all this stuff, what we're really talking about is non-elected official. Listen to me very clearly, okay? Because this isn't QAnon adjacent. This isn't some conspiracy theory rabbit hole thing. This is follow the money, okay? What we're talking about when Trump says the enemy within, I need people that are on the left side of the aisle to understand you've been indoctrinated to think that what he's saying is you are the bad guys because you think differently and we're going to round you up and cure the problem. The enemy within, what he is referring to is non-elected officials, bureaucrats that have been bought and paid for because they are getting paid by foreign interests that are executing policy decisions that are not for the betterment of the American people. They're getting paid a big bag. They're getting mega wealthy to enact policy decisions that are not just not good for the American people, quality of life, and on our livelihood and our future, not just not good for it, but actually willfully designed to tear down our country, the greatest country ever to exist. This system we've got going on here is the best thing us stupid bonobos have managed to figure out and come up with, okay? I'm not saying capitalism's absolutely flawless and perfect, but free economies of trade is great, okay? This is the best thing we've come up with. And there are foreign interests spending billions and billions of dollars through super PACs to non-elected officials that can be bought and paid for to elect in policy decisions that are actively denigrating our democracy, okay? Now, why in court of public opinion has Donald Trump been demonized so hard? I'll tell you why, okay? Again, going back, he's a independently wealthy billionaire, okay? If you are independently wealthy, you have several billions of dollars at your discretion, at your disposal, and someone offers you $50 million. You have $10 billion and someone offers you $50 million to make a decision that will weaken your country, cripple it at the knees. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, I definitely need $50 more million? Or are you going to say, I'm not going to do a middle finger, but are you going to flip them off and say, I'm good. I can't be bought and paid for. Okay. That's why when they say Trump is dangerous to the democracy, what they're actually saying is Trump is dangerous to our system that we are trying to enact, which is a one world government, a new world order that is, we could go super down that rabbit hole, but I don't have to. You can just go watch Agenda 1 and Agenda 2, understand the Communist Manifesto, what's going on with the full install of fascist leadership at all levels of government, trying to instill a social credit score system, universal basic income, and a socialist regime that is not elected so that they can have the ruling class, the have-yachts, and the have-nots, okay? Donald Trump is standing in the way of ushering in Agenda 2030, okay? This whole you'll have nothing and be happy by 2030, there are powers at work. And by the way, this is biblical, right? This is straight up out of the Bible. Okay. This is not just some morally corrupted people at the top of the food chain that are in non-elected positions that are making foreign interest decisions that are destroying the chance of a bright future for them to get a couple of $1 million. It's not just that. This is angels versus demons. This is a spiritual war playing out in front of our eyes. It's bigger than you. Okay. Now, to get back to my point, I'm not saying I don't worship Trump. I don't think he's the savior or appointed by God. Okay, I think he's the best decision he's the best option we've got, right? There's a good option and a bad option, or a good option and a not as good option, right? If that's how you want to view it, right? Couple of different things. Okay. Let's look at a few of the things he said. A big talking point people hate is he said he's going to be a dictator day one, right? People are scared of that, right? Calling back to the Adolf thing. Again, I want to explain something. By the way, let's look into history a little bit. And I hope and pray to God that if you are not privy or with these philosophies, I hope that you're still like, I'm not trying to bring you to my side of the aisle or convince you to believe the things I believe or the things that I've researched and understand. I'm just hoping that you have the emotional regulation to hear me, listen to me, and hopefully, by the grace of God, look into it, right? I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just telling you the way I see things based on the research I've done, right? Be a dictator day one. I want to look into history. Go look at what Bill Clinton did, okay? Because as we know, the president is the seat of, if you look at the branch of government as a triangle, the president is at the top of one of the subsects of government, okay? And the hour Bill Clinton got in, you know what he did to the entire branch under the executive branch? Every single person, every single one, go look it up. Assume I'm lying to you, look it up. He said, have your desk cleared by noon on January 19th. Desk cleared, out. I don't even want to see you. You're gone. He fired everybody. Everybody, day one, gone. He cleaned house. Why? So that he could put his cronies into the executive branch, have full judicial power over the branch so that he could enact things that he's working to do. Now, that's on the other side of the aisle, right? Is he a dictator because he did that? Here's what Trump's really saying, okay? And this is what happened the first time when he said, drain the swamp, okay? Trump was new to DC. He was fresh in politics. He was not a political person, okay? And when he won the presidency, what happened was because he was campaigning on the promise of draining the swamp and he was new to Washington, this whole political ecosystem, he knew of people, but he didn't know people, right? What happened and why he wasn't able to drain the swamp, or these bureaucrats, the deep state, as I call them, right? And by the way, this is going to get basically no coverage at all because it's going to be censored for surezies, which is okay, right? I'm not really posting this for viewership. I just hope that people would take in this information. Trump was actually infiltrated by the very people he was looking to clean house, and he was given bad advisory, right? Because the president has about 90 days upon taking office to hire 10,000 positions out. So the way they do that is they hire at the top and the top down and give them executive power to hire other individuals. And he made a few poor hires that then circumvented his ability to actually clean house, right? He's not going to do that this time. Now, also, we need to look at history. We need to look at his 4 years. Did he rally up all the people that voted for Hillary Clinton, put them in concentration camps, and purge the world of their thinking biases? Did he do that? No, he didn't do that. He's not a fascist leader, okay? In fact, quite the opposite. He did great things for the economy. He did great things for the average American individual as far as tax law goes, okay? I don't know about you, I can't speak for you, but I can tell you unequivocally, I did better economically during the Trump campaign than the last 4 years, okay? Let's just put it out there. I don't know where you're at with that, but that's just the truth, okay? For me. Another talking point that people really didn't like, mass deportation. Look, I can't get behind this at all, okay? I can't, because here's the problem, right? I'm not racist. I love people of all race. I love everybody, right? Because I actually follow the gospels as I'm supposed to. I also love our country. And we have a path. We have a clear-cut path, a legal path to citizenship. A legal path to citizenship. So if we have 15 million illegal immigrants, keyword being illegal, they got here illegally, and they're being given massive government subsidies. Okay, I'm an American citizen by birth, right? So maybe you don't care about my opinion about this, but I do think we need to get them out, and if they want to come back and go through due process to become a legal American citizen, I'm with that. Yes, America's great. Let's keep the American dream alive. Let's get you over here. Let's get you on the paperwork, get you going the right direction, and let's get you to get your citizenship. That's great. We need the 15 million people that entered our country illegally and are getting government subsidies and actively causing serious deficits in our spending out of here, right? Because, I mean, let's not go too deep down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but the left's policy decisions, right? If they had won this, there'd never be a swing state again. There'd never be a Republican elected again, because they would pass policy decisions to allow those illegal immigrants a direct path to voting narratives and citizenship outside of what we already have that works. Don't fix it if it's not broken, right? So that they'd be pumped into all the swing states, so a swing state wouldn't exist anymore. Blue nation all the way over, right? That's not a democracy, okay? That is communism. One party. If you don't agree with us, we censor you. We don't want to hear what you have to say. You're a bigot and a piece of garbage. Okay, right? We have a path that is for immigrants to become legal citizens, and I love that, and I'm happy for them. I want them to be able to do that. I want them to do it the right way. Now, again, like I said, I'm an American-born citizen. Maybe you don't care about my perspective. What about people like Zshad? That is Andy Frisella of Real AF, the CEO of First Form. That is his executive producer for the Real AF podcast, okay? He is an Indian American. He went through the process. Now, you can go listen to his story yourself, okay? But he waited, listen to me, he waited 5 years in India, waited for 5 years to get the document. He went through the proper documentation. He went through everything properly. There's a waiting list. You gotta do it, to go through due process. 5 years to get his status to be able to have his green road into U.S. citizenship legally. Okay. Now think about people like Zshad, right? Think about how they feel about this illegal immigrant situation. I waited 5 years to come into this country legally through due process. I'm not getting tens of thousands of dollars in government aid and subsidies to live in a swing state. I'm paying my way through here. I waited 5 years to get greenlit into here and become a legal citizen the right way. And you're just going to cut the line and you're going to get paid a bunch of money. It's crap. It's absolutely unfair. It is so crazy. It's a problem. We can't, if we just have a wide open border, you don't actually have a real country. Anybody can just come in and do whatever they want. That's not how it works. I'm sorry, but, and I'm all for equal opportunity. I love equal opportunity, free economies of trade. I'm a capitalist. Okay, that's great, but there's due process still, right? Like, I don't know if you're privy to this, but Elon Musk, SpaceX, is an advanced weapons company. Okay, he got indicted because he was discriminating against illegal migrants and not hiring them. All the while, there is a law directly that advanced weapons companies cannot hire non-permanent residents because it is dangerous to national security, right? So two ways, and whichever one you don't do, that's the crime you're guilty of. It's crazy. It's only a lose-lose situation. There's no winning. If he doesn't hire them because he's legally not allowed to, he's discriminating. If he doesn't hire them because he's legally not, or because he doesn't want to discriminate, then it's a national security risk and he's indicted anyways. Like, do you see the problem here? It's a catch-22. I'm all for immigrants having a path, which they do, to citizenship. I'm not for people pumping in millions by the millions, by droves of them, not passing any background checks. Who knows who they are, what they are, right? You know, and people always talk on the talking points. He thinks all Mexicans are rapists and murderers, and no, he doesn't. Okay, and that's another thing. Depending on where you're getting your information from, you're getting little sound bits here, there, and everywhere, completely out of context. Completely, you're getting a half a sentence, and that's a problem because, again, back to court of public opinion. You're being pumped full of information that's not necessarily the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to take it and run with that. That's not cool. Okay. Let's see. Fire the council that indicted him. This is another one. Guys, the indictment, let me really break this down for you. Really break it down. Okay. This indictment where he's supposed to pay $450 million, which he did. And then he ended up getting it back. Okay. Andrew Tate talks about this. You got 3 lives. Okay. They're going to try and destroy your personal credibility. Then they'll try to bankrupt you. Then they'll try and kill you. Okay. We watched it happen live time on the global stage. We watched it happen. Okay. They tried to bankrupt him. Didn't work. He's independently wealthy. And by the way, this one really hits me hard, right? Because if you go look at the court documents, appellate court, the judges looked at it and said, there is no way, there's no legal precedent for this case to be legit. It has no legal standing or grounding, and the whole thing was thrown out. Because by the way, what it was, clear as day, plain as day, you can see it. It's just garbage. It's the throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what'll stick. It was a political attack to try and smear your opponent and run their credibility through the ground and hope that court of public appeal grabs onto it, right? That's what it was. Now, mind you, also public information, you can go look at these court documents, the opposing counsel's closing statements, okay? Their closing statements after they came to find out. And by the way, you can look into this. The appellate judges gave them ample opportunity through every potential path through for it to have legal standing. They gave them several days recess to actually figure it out and see if they could actually come up with any substantiated evidence to have a legal grounding for this case. Couldn't come up with anything. The appellate courts threw it out, said this is bogus, it's garbage, this is a political attack, right? And that's all this is, which, by the way, that happens in third world countries to usher in communism. Look it up, okay? The closing statements and arguments from the opposing counsel were, and I'm not going to quote this directly word for word, but I assume I'm lying. Look it up, find it out yourself, okay? It was, we are sorry about bringing this up. However, because we're lawyers and we're in law, we need immunity to be able to bring information like this to the table to see if there's any merit or grounding or legal standing for this. We need, basically what they were asking for, they were asking, please don't indict us afterwards, after this, to take our law degrees and our licenses away from us because you know that this was fugazi. Please don't come after us because we did this and this was morally corruptible. and morally apprehensible, right? Please don't take our licenses away. We're sorry. That was their closing statements. We know that we screwed up. Sorry. But we're lawyers, so it's kind of just what we have to do. Look it up. I mean, if that doesn't tell you the writing's on the wall, everything right there that you need to know, I don't know what will. Another thing, him being a convicted felon, can I tell you something? This actually really makes me mad, actually really bad. Because this Stormy Daniels thing, okay, he is a felon. He is a felon. And he's a felon because he got felony bribery for hush money. Now, let's understand here something. Okay, let me give you a personal story from my life. Okay, court of public opinion, when I was running a tech company in the gloving sector, which, by the way, I'm a passionate flow artist myself. Passionate flow artist before I was an entrepreneur. Before I ever became an entrepreneur, I was a passionate flow artist. I came into this industry out of a love for the industry. I loved the art form. And then I was presented the opportunity to be an actual at the top of the pyramid, driving progress forward in the industry. And I was like, this is so sick. I'm living my dream. I get to do what I'm artistically passionate about and monetize it and drive forward growth and momentum. However, I was 22 at the time. I quit my other company that I was running. I put it to the side, sacrificed everything, sold everything I had, lived in a garage. I was 22 and a half years old. And I was telling everybody, hey, you need to build a personal brand. I was teaching them entrepreneurial principles. Okay. Young guy. A lot of them are older than them. He owns nothing, lives in a garage, and he's telling you, you need to read books, get serious, stop doing drugs, have a plan for your life. Yeah. Guess what? Court of public opinion. I was public enemy number one. Everybody hated me. They hated me. And now, mind you, okay, to go back to the Stormy Daniels thing, first off, court of public opinion, not to mention they had a jury, which, by the way, again, assume I'm lying, look it up. Her actual judiciary counsel said that this is a kangaroo court. This is insane. Because the judge presiding over it, which, by the way, it was not a bipartisan jury. They pumped it full of people that hate Trump. And it's always that it has to be a unanimous vote to actually issue the charges. And they said, no, it's not unanimous this time. It's majority. And they had already pumped the jury full of people that were vehement Trump haters. So kangaroo court, look up what a kangaroo court is. It's all fugazi. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's not real. Okay, it is real. He got that on his record, but it's because in court of public opinion, he was given a bad rep. A bunch of people that already hated him, not bipartisan, you're literally not allowed to be on a jury if you have predispositions to the case. They didn't care about that in this case. That is a kangaroo court right there. Okay. Not to mention, look, I'm a Christian man. Okay. Again, I'm not here to talk or defend Trump's personal character. Me, myself, I am not going to go have sex with a porn star. Not only am I not going to have sex with a porn star, one, because I'm not married to her, and two, I just don't go have sex like that. But three, even worse, I'm certainly not going to pay her for it. Okay? I'm not even going to do it in the first place, but I'm not going to pay her for it. I'm also not going to judge Trump for whatever decisions he decides to make. Okay? And if, by the way, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's been VC funded, as someone that has companies in the world stage, I do this. I'm really a businessman. Understand this. I want you to understand this perspective. Okay? If you have a contract with someone, you have a contract. It doesn't matter what's in the contract. Prostitution's illegal. It doesn't matter what's in the contract, okay? Even if it's something that's illegal. You sign a contract, there's an NDA involved, both parties sign and agree to it, and there's an exchange of money. That doesn't hold up in court. That's not hush money. I'm going to have sex with you. I'm going to pay you. There's going to be an NDA involved in this contract. Everybody washes their hands. Now, again, as a Christian man, I don't think that's morally right, actually. I think I wouldn't do that. I'm not judging you for doing that, but I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's outside of my compass. That's outside of my scope. But it's also a kangaroo court. Okay, so that's not cool. Now, what I wanted to share and why I started touching on the situation in the flow arts community that I dealt with, okay? Something you need to understand as a public figure. I'm a public figure. Whether you like it or not, I'm a public figure. And I'm only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There are women out here that are, as soon as you get on the world stage, you become a big public figure. You're well known, public facing. There are evil, truly evil women out here that will make unsubstantiated claims out of the blue for no reason, just to hurt your public credibility and change public court of opinion. Okay, it happened to me. Okay, a woman that I proved, by the way, this isn't illegal, by the way. I personally, this is a totally side tangent that has nothing to do with politics at all. I think if something like this comes to pass and then it's found in court that she was lying, I think she should have to deal with the sentence that they were going to put on you. I think she deserves that punishment. That's me. That's my personal opinion. Okay, that's just me. But it's not illegal to raise unsubstantiated claims against someone. However, it is a crime to defame someone's character, and you can actually be sued for defamation, the defamation suit. And why Trump didn't do that? He just doesn't care. Okay, he's got bigger fish to fry. He's an independently wealthy billionaire. I share all this because literally, I think it is crazy because a woman that didn't like me because she was mega liberal, hated me in the raving community when I was running this company. I'm a big public figure. Said that I raped her. She said that. And court of public opinion goes crazy. Everybody starts attacking me, freaking out. I prove, this didn't go to legal court, but I prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I haven't even met this woman before. I've never seen this woman in my life. I don't even know her. She's a random figure on the internet. Right? I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Guess what? I also threatened her with a defamation suit because I said, you know that you're lying. I know that you're lying, and what you're doing is morally reprehensible. It is evil. And if you do not renounce this, I will sue you for defamation. Guess what? She publicly renounced I was lying. It was all made up to hurt Jake's image. Guess what? Court of public opinion was still negative on me. It didn't change the court of public opinion even after the false things were denounced. Right? So I'm emphatic about this, and I'm really energetic about this because what you need to understand that most people don't understand is when you become a public figure, you're a public facing personality, you have a target on your back, and anybody can come up with anything completely unsubstantiated just to see if they can get a couple of nickels out of you. I'm not kidding. It's evil. It's evil stuff, but it's the world we live in, and it happens all the time. Okay, so let's just cross-cancel that one right out. He wants to get rid of the Green New Deal. This is a really long one, and I'm sorry that it's so long, but there's just a lot to talk about here, right? A lot. Okay, the Green New Deal, I won't even touch too deep into it, but there are literal scientific studies. The whole philosophy of this ideology is literally bass-ackwards, 100%. We need more. We need more carbon dioxide. Okay, I'm not kidding you. Like, we really do. The polarity of it's getting colder or it's getting hot. Like, I'm not even scientifically versed enough to delve into this, but I can show you scientific studies. We need more carbon dioxide to bring the levels back to where they want to be, right? Because trees and foliage uses carbon dioxide as oxygen to then create oxygen. We need more carbon dioxide, not less, okay? So, and whatever. Don't believe me? Whatever. People are concerned that Elon Musk is going to get a role in government. Again, to go back to the founder, I'm a business owner. I need you to understand something. These oil sheiks, right? You know, the crown family of Dubai. Okay, they got cumulatively trillions of dollars of wealth. If you start the game of life with $1 trillion and you turn it into 2 trillion, that's cool. You doubled your money, you did great, but you got such a massive head start, it's insane. Elon Musk is self-made. Now, again, you're gonna go, oh, his parents have emerald mines in Africa. Okay, relax, all right? My parents are upper middle class, they're well off, and my parents have been angels in my company and they've invested as startups to help me grow. Okay, not $1 million. Okay, but you know, I'll acknowledge I've got a bit of a head start. Is that fair? No. Okay, but life's not fair, so get over it. Okay, stop complaining about the circumstances, the hand that you've been dealt, and just play the hand that you're dealt and get somewhere from it. Because complaining about it's not gonna serve any purpose, right? It's just gonna put you in a low vibrational state, and you're just gonna sulk in your unhappiness, and then you're just in a downward spiral. Don't do that. Okay. Your hand might not be the best hand ever, but it's the hand you've got. So play it. Start from where you're at and start now. Okay. So Elon Musk, when he was building PayPal, him and his brother living in a flat, 1 bedroom, on a couch, trading time between sleeping and programming and building the company. Complete 100% total bootstrapped. Okay. Bootstrapped, crazy bootstrapped. More than I sold everything and I lived in a garage. More than that, living on a futon, right? Coding at night, sleeping in the day, flip-flopping. So the programs, the website's always up and they're just bootstrapping it. Exits, okay? A 9-figure exit, okay? And what did he do? Did he level up his lifestyle? Did he go buy a Bugatti and a $15 million house to show, hey, look, I made it, guys? No. Guess what he did? He continued to live so far below his means that his life was meager among meager people, and he invested every penny into his subsidiary companies, rocket launched and scaled those up, and now he's one of the richest men in the world. Why am I sharing this? Well, because Trump wants to put him in charge in a new position to be the head of government spending. To have him audit the government spending and the ledger, the plus and minuses, figure out where we can save so that we can get out of this deficit and turn this whole thing around, okay? We're $36 trillion in debt. I don't think you understand how big that number is or what that does to the M1 and M2 money supply. If you haven't studied micro and macroeconomics and you're not an entrepreneur, you probably couldn't care less, but it's a big deal. And inflation is the secret tax that you're not paying attention to that is literally thievery. They are stealing from lower and middle class Americans. They are stealing your buying power and making it so that you are a slave. Like in the Matrix, right? The analogy, you were born into bondage, Neo. You are a slave. If you work a job and you only have one income stream and it is your active income stream, your job, and your money is depreciating in buying power by 50% on a cost basis annually, you are a slave. You're getting 50 cents on the dollar. And by the way, you're paying in excess of a 50% tax all in, which by the way, we fought. I don't know if you remember this, but the formation of our country was over a 6% T-tax. We didn't want to pay 6%. Now we're paying all in over 50%. People have become so engrossed in technology and being lethargic and not caring about the state of the world or the state of their personal situation and where we're headed in this whole thing to the future, that they're just lethargic and they're just going along with the punches. You are a slave. You need to not be a slave. The American dream is the ability to go from slavery and financial destitutism to not that. And you can escape. There is a path for that. I teach it. Many people teach it. But unfortunately, people that are the have-nots, they say, you think you're better than me. You're holier than thou. No, I think I understand things on a different level of capacity than you do. That's why I'm winning on the global stage and you're living a life of not meritocracy, right? But that doesn't make me better than you in the eyes of God. It makes me better than you in the marketplace, which that's inherent by the fact that I make more money than you, right? So I think Elon Musk is the greatest possible person for that job. Better than a sheik, better than Jeff Bezos, the greatest person on planet Earth for that job. Because he did it. He's independently wealthy, and he knows how to cut unnecessary costs so that we can be in a surplus, not a deficit. He understands that, right? That's not scary. That's a great thing. Tariffs. People not liking tariffs. Okay. Do you understand that putting massive tariffs on imports from foreign countries actually lowers your cost basis as a personal individual? It actually makes it so that taxes can go down. You can keep more of your dollars. And not only that, it stimulates growth in the economy because it incentivizes big companies based overseas to build something here so that they can avoid those tariffs, make it localized to the US, the central United States, and bring jobs, stimulate the economy, bring growth. And by the way, that brings down the cost basis of that product. So it's actually cheaper. Like, I studied micro and macroeconomics. If you didn't study micro and macroeconomics, I'm sorry, but you need to know these things. And if you don't know these things, then I don't know how you can have some sort of consternation with this idea because you don't even understand it. Another thing, look, a lovely lady. I love her. I really do love her. I really do. I went to high school with her. I'm not going to drop her name because it's just not necessary. She was one of the only two that didn't block me and said, I thoroughly 100% disagree with almost all of your positions, 100%. I doubt we'll even find common ground, but I think you're a good person. I think you're a positive person. I think you provide light to the world. So I'm not going to block you, even though I did block other people. And I said, hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'd like the opportunity to understand your perspectives, hear them. And then if you'll give me the opportunity, I'd like to explain to you the way I think and see things. She said she doesn't agree with the deep state, doesn't think it's real, or this whole QAnon thing about child sacrifice. Go watch Sound of Freedom. If you haven't seen Sound of Freedom, okay, human trafficking is a big deal, okay? Now, not even touching on conspiracy theories. You can go look up declassified documents from 3-letter agencies, okay? Adrenochrome is a real substance. It is a real substance. This is not conspiracy theory. This is a real thing. Look it up. Assume I'm lying. Look it up, okay? So let's put the pieces of the puzzle together, okay? It's not that hard. We're not making big, grandiose tinfoil hat leaps over here, okay? We're connecting the pieces of the puzzle. The human trafficking industry is a multiple 12-figure industry, okay? Not to mention Jeffrey Epstein, Diddy, okay? Different spaces. Hollywood, music, okay? Rap specifically. Think about this. Let's connect some dots here. Let me. I wish I had a tinfoil hat, but how about we understand that there is an entire industry here using blackmail of a certain thing, liking kids, which is morally detestable, and it's against God's will for the world. I do my best to not judge as a Christian man, but if you are, if you identify as a minor attracted person, I'm scared of you. I think you're a scary person. I love kids. I think kids say the funniest things. They got no filter. They remind me of a joy in the world that I never had. But I don't love kids like that, bro. And if that's how you think, I'm sorry if this is too crass or if this is too, extremist. But just like Andy Frisella, I think you belong in a wood chipper. I don't think the world has space for you. And I'm not some kind of guy that thinks we need to exterminate a certain subsect group of people. But think about this. Among criminals, hardened criminals, serial rapists, serial murderers, among criminals, these individuals, when they get into jail, the criminals kill these guys. Okay? So I don't think this is a point of contention for anybody. I think as everybody mostly agrees that these type of people, there's something wrong with you. Okay, we don't need you here. Go sit in a corner and don't talk to anybody. Or like it's really we don't need these people. Okay, but look, to get back on point. Okay, imagine that there is a figurehead in each major industry that is connecting people into a ring of weird stuff going on, okay? Because reality is often stranger than fiction, and they're recording all this to generate enough blackmail that they can have these people, A, B, C-list celebrities, public-facing figures. The majority of them are at a point in their life where they have to follow a specific doctrine by a specific group of people, 3-letter agencies, these going back to these corrupted bureaucrats that are geopolitically maneuvering to get money and screw everybody else, okay? They have these people under wraps like puppeteers saying, if you do not do exactly as I say, the way I say it, we are going to ruin your public credibility. All this stuff about you is going to come out. People are going to see that you did this with a kid. Then we're going to arrest you. Then you're going to kill yourself. Okay, and by the way, I should have put this at the beginning of this, right? I'd never kill myself, ever, at all. I've never had suicidal ideations. I don't think like that. I believe I'm a light of the world. I believe that my purpose on this world is to help inspire others to pursue their purpose and follow Jesus Christ, learn the gospels, and live a righteous lifestyle. And I think I'm supposed to be the example for that. I would never kill myself. And by the way, my platform on both TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all of them, has been threatened several times by Meta and ByteDance because I've posted information, I've posted videos with cited sources from 3-letter agencies explaining what's going on here on a global scale. I know what's going on. I've got the pieces. I'm awake to this. I can explain it to you. However, this will probably get taken down. When I explain it, now I'm the bad guy. Hey, you're not allowed to talk about that. Don't look over here. Okay. It's right. We're not going down a deep rabbit hole here. This is reality. And if you see it another way, I'd love to understand how you see it that way, because the way I see it is you've been psyoped. You have been psyoped into having smoke and mirrors, just like Wizard of Oz. You're looking at the man in front of the curtain, not realizing there's puppeteers controlling everything behind the scenes. Okay, maybe you're not privy to what's going on. I want to touch on another one, really big one. This is a big one. Okay, huge one. Actually, probably the biggest one out there, bigger than the immigration thing and the illegal immigrants. Okay, abortion. Okay, let's touch this. Okay, let's touch this. Okay, I am a Christian man. Again, I'm gonna go. I did just say I judge people for being kid lovers. Okay. But, even still, it's not my place to judge, okay? My personal thoughts on this, again, God-fearing man, I don't think we should be doing any form of contraception. I think you should be having sex in marriage, okay? And if you're having sex out of marriage, and if you're a male, you get a woman pregnant. If you're a female and you get pregnant by having sex with someone, what if... Hear me out here, right? This is, again, the full geopolitical global scale of things is different than my personal philosophy. This is my personal philosophy. What if you getting pregnant is like divine ordinance? What if you're supposed to like work on your relationship and build a life with this person, right? Like, instead of getting rid of the baby and, it's a mistake, what if it's an act of divine providence? You now have a child, which, by the way, even if you didn't want the child, you don't understand, and I don't even fully understand. This is a parroted talking point because I'm not a woman and I don't even have kids. I'm not a father, but you don't understand the level of love that you will feel for your offspring that you birth into this world. Even if you didn't want them on initial contact, you get pregnant, you don't want the baby, you carry it to full term, you're going to love that kid. That's your kid. That is a mini you. You're going to love that child. Okay. So that's just biblically speaking, as a God-fearing Christian man, I don't think we should be, I don't like it. I just don't. Okay. And if we go back to ancient times, when God was walking around, Jesus, okay, people were worshiping Baphomet, Baal, okay, and people still are. You know what I'm talking about? The half goat man with the boobs, okay, with this position, okay, Luciferian. Okay, and now you can look this up. Again, assume I'm lying. Everything I say, I want you to assume I'm lying, and I want you to look it up and research it yourself, okay? Literally, Baphomet is worshipped through child sacrifice, okay? To go back to the human trafficking situation, we got a big problem with that. Where are the people going? Let's put these pieces of the puzzle together, okay? We're not jumping all over crazy conspiracy theories. We're just looking at objective reality of what's going on and putting some pieces of the puzzle together, okay? I mean, we're not. It's really okay if you don't understand or believe these things, and that's totally fine, but it's a reality of the world we live in, and unfortunately, if not enough people realize and do something about moving us to a better path, which I believe we're in accordance with the divine path. We're in the chosen timeline, you could call it. And that gets into the law of one and polarity. And we won't even go into that esoteric conversation because I'll lose everybody if I haven't already. But it's a reality. And if you're objecting to that because perhaps it's too crass for you to stomach. That's okay. It's okay. It's maybe just not your time to, digest these things. But what we've dealt with on one side of the aisle is actual treasonous behavior, real treason. And they've been so locked in on making sure that they can hold their positions of power so that they did not have to face like actual punishment for their crimes. Like they don't want to actually have to deal with the repercussions of their actions. True treason, real treason. Another one I need to talk about that was big. J6, people having a problem with J6, saying it's an insurrection. And I hope I'm coming off with all the empathy in the world, because I'm trying to come up with empathy. I do not judge you for having certain perspectives. However, I want you to look with open eyes and an open heart center and understand the American people are the most armed to the teeth citizens on the planet of all countries. We're armed to the teeth. Okay. Trump before, by the way, and we got receipts. We got receipts posted on X. Please be peaceful. If you're going to go to the Capitol and you're going to protest, not riot, protest, be peaceful, be calm. Okay. He said that. It was deleted by X, or at the time, Twitter. Okay. Because that doesn't fit the narrative. We can't have him saying that public facing. Okay. And not to mention, deplatforming a sitting president from social media. Also, to say we need censorship of free speech on social platforms because it's too dangerous to have open discourse, which, by the way, that was one of Kamala's talking points. That, if you don't see that as that she's saying the First Amendment's dangerous. Go look in history. Every single time in history when one side of an aisle is saying those guys aren't allowed to talk because we're not allowed to hear what they have to say because they're dangerous, every single time, without fail, in history, those are the bad guys. Why are they so scared of people talking? Like, it's because you'll see through their fugazi smoke and mirrors, because they're trying to usher in fascism. Okay. Now, to get back to my point, I've gone on a lot of side tangents, and most people are not going to listen to this. It's too long, and that's okay. I'm just going to put it up here anyways. Look, J6. That was not a riot. It was not an insurrection. As it was stated in the media, that's not an insurrection. Okay. If it was an insurrection, people would have had guns. Nobody had any weaponry of any kind. Now, it is also been declassified again. Well, probably the 7th time I've said it. Please assume I'm lying. Do your own research. Find this out yourself. Assume that this is a lie. It has been declassified in documents from 3-letter agencies that they had civilian-dressed agents in the crowd inciting violence, trying to spark it into a riot, and it didn't work. Now, they walked into the Capitol. How do you think that happened? Do you think these people that were just peacefully protesting without their guns, because it's not an insurrection, just broke into the Capitol? I'll tell you what happened. And in fact, you can go find this out directly from our 3-letter agencies, that this is an actual fact. They were led in by the undercover agents. Why, you might ask? Why is because that way they could have this psyop in existence that people on one side of the aisle would say that was an insurrection, and go along with this talking point that Trump is dangerous to our democracy because he tried to uphold and supersede our democratic process and have his supporters host an insurrection. That's not what happened. That was literally a psyop staged by our own 3-letter agencies that are full of the swamp, the deep state, unelected bureaucrats that do not have elected positions. They can become a lifelong bureaucrat that is literally pulling strings, smoke and mirrors. They have a subsidiary of hierarchy of chain of command, but they are doing sub projects, avoiding their chain of command and executing against the will of the people. That is called treason. This is happening at all levels in all branches of the government because, honestly, because people are corruptible. We're human beings, okay? There's going to be human error. And just like that, with the 7 deadly sins, each of us is disaffected by different problems. And that becomes a real big problem in big government, okay? Especially in non-elected official seats where you're there. You could be there from 18 to 65. It's dangerous what we have. And the idea of a deep state, it's real, okay? There are bad actors in every medium, in every industry, in every vertical. Specifically, though, when it comes to government, it's specifically more dangerous because they're not just playing with free house money that they're just getting. No, they're playing with the future of your great-great-grandchildren. They're playing with the geopolitical landscape of the world. Okay? It's Luciferian what's going on, and you don't need to agree with me. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just telling you how I think. But that's not an insurrection. If it was an insurrection, they'd have guns. They'd have guns, okay? That was probably loud. I'm so sorry. All right, look, I could go in. There's so much more. I don't want this to be 3 hours long. There's so much more, man. I don't think Trump's the savior of the world that was appointed by God to save us all. I don't think that. I think that Kamala, and by the way, this was one that Elon said, and he was actually he was sent a letter by the DOD that he was walking fine territory with this one, and if I get indicted for this, I'll pass in court. They won't indict me because it's not possible, because I'm not calling for anyone to be killed, and I'm not inciting anything like that. Just calling into question something. Why was Trump attempted to be assassinated twice, but no one attempted to assassinate Kamala Harris? Let's ask ourselves, critically think, why? Well, I'll tell you why. Killing a puppet does nothing. Kamala Harris is a talking head. She's a figurehead, just like Biden was. She's not the system. She represents the mechanism behind this cabal, this deep state, this anti-American system that's under the covers, behind the curtain. If we want to follow the Wizard of Oz scheme, behind the curtain, pulling strings against the American people to get for their own social economic gain. That's what's going on. Okay, so why would you kill a puppet? They're just going to put another one in there. To say Trump is dangerous to our democracy, what they're really saying is Trump is not part of the club. Trump cannot be bought and sold. Trump is dangerous to the democracy because what they're saying is our democracy, the fascist new world order that we're trying to instill. What they want what China has, a social credit score system. So, okay, if you're a good little boy, you don't post stuff like this. You don't bring thought concepts and ideas that are outside of what you're allowed to talk about. Go read George Orwell's 1984. Go read the book. It'll scare you half to death if you haven't read it already, okay? Whew. It's the world we've been living in, okay? They want a social credit score system. So if you're a good little boy, you're okay. You're in good standing in social systems. You can ride the bus. You can go do airfare. You can do whatever you want. You can talk to your friends on social media. If you're not a good little boy and you bring ideas like this very podcast, your score goes down. You're not allowed to go do airfare. Also, by the way, with Universal Basic Income, UBI, which, by the way, what they can do with that, if you're not familiar with cryptographic technology and the blockchain, which most of you aren't, okay, programmable digital money, you can program it. Okay, say once a month, if you're a good little boy, you get your $1,000. You get $1,000 to you every month. It's just a basic right. Everybody gets $1,000. However, you can only spend it on bread, eggs, and milk. That's it. Anything else, it won't work. It's fake. It's not real money. You can't buy diapers. You can't buy watermelons. You can't go get vegetables. You can't get pure food. Okay, it's only these three things, and it's programmable digital money. If you do not spend your $1,000 in the next 30 days, it's gone. It disappears. It allows them to get rid of generational wealth, the ability to actually escape the financial matrix and become a dynasty, right? They want to get rid of the American dream because that doesn't fit within their have-yachts and have-nots, the elites and the peasant class. Okay, if this isn't conspiracy theory, this is well documented in history. Okay, I want you to go watch Agenda 1 and Agenda 2 documentaries on the Communist Manifesto and how Karl Marx has planned all this, how they started in the
the public education system. This goes way back to the early 1900s. Okay. We move off of and move on to, we move away. Nixon gets signed in, gets us onto the gold standard. If you go even further back, right, the World Bank was established after the Titanic sinks, and I'm not going to start dropping names. I don't want to put too many pieces of the puzzle together for you, because again, I already got a target. I'm already on a list somewhere. Okay. Just go look it up. All right. Who died on the Titanic that was critical into forming the World Bank? Who was opposed to the succession of a World Bank that was geopolitically very powerful and important at that time? And then what then happened? Also, the Executive Order 11011, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I might not know the executive order number, but it's an executive order passed by JFK right before he was assassinated. And in the first 5 minutes, again, assume I'm lying. It's like the 9th time I've said it. Lyndon B. Johnson, I don't know. Who the successor, the VP of JFK, within the first 5 minutes of taking and swearing in, signed an executive order to nullify that executive order. What was that executive order exactly? Well, it was to move the US dollar back to a silver standard, to move us towards finite precious metals and away from the Federal Reserve, which is not an actual legitimate branch of government. It is a privately held corporation by the World Bank, the World Banking Institution. Again, like I said, follow the money. This is not conspiracy theory. Truth is often stranger than fiction. You can find all this out by looking it up. There is about 3,000 people on the planet that control everything in this world, and they are behind the curtain, and they hate you. They think you are morally detestable. You are an ant to them, because they are generationally wealthy. They have so much money you couldn't even begin to quantify it. And you are nothing more than a peon, a slave to them that keeps their game going. Okay? And they are the man behind the mirror that's pulling these strings. They own the government. They own the deep state bureaucrats that are getting paid the millions and billions of dollars. They're the ones paying them, right? Follow the money. My goodness, right? So, JFK gets assassinated because he's trying to move us off the World Bank. A lot of this greed is centered around money, obviously, because, if you control the money, you control the world, you control the flow of information, you got everybody wrapped around your finger, like what's referred to in the Communist Manifesto as a useful idiot. And that's what I fear. People on the left. And again, by the way, I would never call you stupid, but I would call you ignorant. And that got me a lot of flack in the flow arts community, because let me explain to you something. Being stupid is being an idiot. If you're stupid, you're an idiot. I don't think anybody's an idiot. I think some people are willfully ignorant, which is worse than being stupid. Willful ignorance is hearing information such as this and then consciously choosing to reject it. So now you've heard the information, you know the information, but you just refuse to ignore it, or you refuse to take it in and you accept to ignore it. Dangerous stuff, willful ignorance. But being just ignorance is lack of specialized knowledge in a specific field. That's not a synonym to stupidity, okay? So if you're ignorant, that just means you just don't know what you don't know. And I don't fault you for being ignorant to this stuff, what that I'm talking about, how the world really works, what's really going on behind the scenes, because you're not taught this stuff. Because, by the way, Rockefeller said, I want to raise up a nation of workers, not thinkers. Thinkers are people that can rationalize and understand what's going on, the means and motives behind things, and following the money and seeing the trail of what's going on in reality. They're dangerous to their democracy. This game of ushering in a one world government, it wouldn't work if enough people were consciously aware of what's going on. Like in what's the Pixar movie with the ants and the crickets? If we all stand up at the same time, the game is over. Immediately. There's not enough of them. There's way more of us than them. Okay? So, and I'm not calling for an insurrection on a global level, right? Okay, so let's relax. All right. At some point, you gotta play within the bounds of the game. Just like in the Matrix, Neo helps other people wake up and escape the Matrix from within the Matrix. You have to play within the bounds of reality to some extent, even if you're going counterculture and you're a sovereign individual. Which, by the way, I'm a sovereign individual. The whole game, I'm outside of it. I don't agree with any of it. That's why I'm not worshiping Trump. I don't think Trump's the savior that's going to fix everything in the world for all of us. I don't think that. I think he's the best solution we've got for the time being. And to get butthurt and, say I'm a bad person because that's what I think, that's really whack. Hurts my feelings. Doesn't hurt my feelings. It's all good. Again, it's okay to be ignorant. It's not okay to be willfully ignorant. So you weren't taught this stuff, and that's okay. Also, I don't need you to agree with me. And if you did listen to this and you're like, this guy's crazy, that's okay. It's all right. Just some food for thought, some ideas, right? Think about it. Now, also, maybe you don't think everything I'm saying is completely illogical and fallacy and off the wall. Perhaps, hopefully so. I urge you to get around like-minded people that cause you to think deeper than you've been called previously to think, right? Don't just look at things surface level and take it to be the truth. Research into it, formulate your own opinions. I think it's powerful. Again, like I said in the very beginning, I'll never tell you what to think, how to think, what to do. Like, I just want free thinkers. I want people to be able to juxtapose different philosophies, juggle them around, think about it, and then form their own opinions. I think that's what creates freedom and individuals with sovereign rights, is the ability to have a thinking mind. I think when you turn your mind on and you start thinking about things, you become better. And then by being better, you're shining a light in the world that inspires others to be better. And it's just domino effect. And if enough people get there, whole game's over, right? So that's where we're at. I truly do believe if we were looking at the other side of the coin, what a lot of people seem to want to happen, and clearly not everybody, right? I had a lot of positive response as well today. It was 16 people with a negative response, and it was over 80 with a positive response. But the reason why I needed to share this, because I want it to be understood. Like, I don't hate you if you have different viewpoints than me, and I'm never going to make personal attacks on you. I would hope that you'd allow me to help formulate new thought bases for you, not with the intention of bringing you over to my aisle and wavelength of thinking. Absolutely not. Just to take the information as food, throw it in your mouth, chew it around a little bit, food for thought, little analogy there, right? Think about it. I'm not telling you how to think or that this is right or this is what you need to do. I'm just hoping that you'll digest the information and think about it and then research and try to figure it out. That's really the large talking points that people have a moral juxtaposition to. Again, one last time before I rally it out, close this bad boy out. This has been way longer than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. Guys, I don't know Trump personally. I cannot speak to his personal character. But we need to look at policies, and the 4 years Trump served as our president were good. Geopolitically, no new wars. First president to not embark in a new war in 16 years. Think about it. Think about that. No new wars. We had peace around the world. Geopolitically, we're good. Socioeconomically, we're good. Green, going good. Everything's good. Up. Economy's up. Lifestyle is up. The average American, lower middle class, lifestyle up. Everything's going good. Great. We're good. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. I firmly disagree with the idea that Trump's a fascist totalitarian dictator that's going to come in and pull a Hitler. I think that's insane. I think that's insane. However, the other side of the aisle, and this is where you've been psyoped, right? Kamala Harris said she wanted to take our guns away. She said we got to get rid of free speech and we got to get rid of the guns. Why do we have free speech? To protect against tyrannical government. Why do we have guns? In case rule number 1 doesn't work. Like, bro, we need free speech to protect against tyrannical government, and we need guns if the tyrannical government takes away the free speech. Oh, they really were. Like, think, if you can't see the other side of the coin, it's okay. It is okay. It's fine. But like, that is scary that you don't see that, because I mean, they're not hiding it. It's plain as day, open. Why do you think Kamala Harris didn't talk about any of her policy decisions or what she's going to do? Because she can't talk about that on the process of coming into office, because if you heard all the stuff, you'd even if you're completely bought in and psyop, if you heard the stuff that they were planning on doing, you'd go, whoa, this is fascist. Oh my goodness. Right? Like it, bro. Puppets, puppeteers. The man behind the curtain is trying to take over. And the thing I shared, can I share this? I think I can share this. I think my phone's hooked up to this. Let me close it out with the thing that Trump said, the post I shared. Can I do that? Let me see here.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple.
I think it is working, actually. Hold on. Here we go. Let's pause the music. Little technical stuff. This is what I posted. Okay, Trump right here. Listen to this.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation, because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all.
So that should have come through the speakers there. But guys, I'm not saying Trump's the savior of the world. I am saying that of the two choices, Trump is the one that's not playing the game. He's not able to be bought out, and he's able to make decisions for the good of the American people, not to be, objective to, I'm going to get my bag up, and I don't care how it negatively impacts the world or the American people that I'm supposed to be serving and representing. That's why I voted for former president, number 45 and now 47 elect, Donald J. Trump. And if you listen to this and you still think I'm morally detestable and a piece of garbage because this is how I think, and you think I'm a bad person, okay, it's fine. That's fine. Agree to disagree. Okay, if you need to block me, it's okay. Not going to hurt my feelings, but I wanted to share that because I think it's important. So I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. I love you. Bye.